So I'm just talking for no reason, or the words are coming out for no reason. And it feels obvious that there's just sky, grass, trees, birds, and even those are words that kind of draw lines seemingly between this, And I remember when I first heard, and of course this is storytelling because past is a story, but so are all words. But when I first heard, these are really beautiful flowers. They smell so good. I don't know what they are. Oh my God, beautiful. But in the story of Marissa's life, when I first heard people talk about all there is just what's apparently happening, it sounded like that was a state to reach, and like the state of realizing permanently that all there is just what's happening. But like even the thoughts about arriving in a more enlightened state, or thoughts about one day when I realize there is no self, whatever that means, also that's just what's happening. So it's just, the bottom kind of seems to fall out of the whole journey to eventually get somewhere. Now, that can also be met with a lot of resistance because, it seems like that's suggesting that, it seems like that's suggesting, I don't know, resignation or like apathy or laziness. And it seems like it's probably different for each personality, but it seems like there's still ambition to do the things that I love to do, but it doesn't feel so much like a personal effort. It just kind of feels like a natural unfolding. But, also it feels obvious that it's only ever been a natural unfolding anyway, because even the times where it really feels like, or has felt like, again, this is storytelling, but any time when it feels like or has felt like I've really got to do something about this, or like I'm not there yet, and or this whatever's happening, emotion, feeling, whatever, is some indicator that I haven't personally arrived yet, or something like that. It's like even those thoughts are just kind of obviously happening on their own, like I feel like walking toward the sunshine again. Well, I guess the sunshine's up there, huh? Even to say up there and over there, it's relative, dude. Whoa! No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Am I kidding? But like, I don't even remember what the fuck I was saying. Oh yeah, like even the thoughts about okay, so I need to change this or work on this or grow in this area. Even those thoughts it feels obvious that they just happen on their own too. So at times it can feel like there's me and my mind. There's this like, the way I've described it before, apparently described it before, is like, you know, I guess I don't know, if I had to paint a word picture, it's like feeling like the thoughts and the feelings are like flowing down this stream, and then there's like another me, like my higher self or something like up there, or my subconscious, whatever, like there's some other like me upstream who should be doing a better job at directing the thoughts and the feelings coming downstream to this me down here. But then it's like, that's just such a story, because it's just only ever happening on its own. Even that thought happened on its own. Even these words happened on their own. Even the sense of let me talk about this or that happens on its own. It just feels like absolutely spontaneous. And even the sense of like planning something also feels like a natural, spontaneous occurrence. Kind of like, I don't know, it's like seeing a tree and feeling like there's a little tree inside the tree pushing the tree that I see up into the sky. But like, it's just a tree that's growing in its natural way. And it seems like that's all it is with thoughts and feelings and emotion. Even the sense of personal growth. I mean, it's funny talking about this, because even in the relative, I guess I'd say, absence of really feeling like there's a solid center or core, the way that I would have described it before, maybe like feeling like there's a really like a soul, or like me inside the body. It feels like that's just a bundle of sensations, so to speak. Even bundle kind of creates a box, but so do all words. But it's like, even in the absence of a real conviction that something here is really missing or incomplete, the irony is there's still like learning and growth and discovery. Apparently, that's the way it feels. It's like there can still seem to be aha moments of like, you know. And the problem, it's not a problem, but the annoying part about talking about any of this, when people talk about, you know, like all there is, or like existence, or like, you know, the sticky word enlightenment or whatever the fuck. I mean, there is no enlightenment, because like already, like, I guess what feels like is wanting to be communicated in these words is just like, whether or not there's a sense of, oh, I'm on a personal journey to try and get somewhere else, then I'll really be there. Like, once I reach the Emerald City, then I'll really be home. Or, you know, it's like, even if that's the sense that's going on, no one's controlling that either. So it's like, that's also perfectly what it is. So, and it's funny because, like, you know, that can sound like, it can sound like, when it's obvious that there's not actually anyone driving the ship. And I'm not claiming that this is the truth, because I just don't really think that there is such a thing as the truth anyway. It's just kind of another word and concept. But it's just like, even when it's obvious, or when it can be obvious that there's no one, like, you know, driving the bus or like steering the ship of like life happening, it's like the same things still are going on, because it's sort of like, it's not that, okay, now there's no one driving the ship. It's like, wow, there's never been anyone driving the ship. So even the sense of me being in control, when that was really strong, or and again, when it was, like, that's creating another story of past, but, and it can sound like I'm talking about some sort of arrival, which I'm not. It's sort of the absolute death of even being a possibility of arriving anywhere. But then, you know, then there can be thoughts around that that's like, oh, how do I get to the end of believing that I could arrive somewhere? But that's just, again, the same energy of wanting to arrive at no longer wanting to arrive. So that's why it's like, it's really pointless to talk about this. But actually, I just find it really refreshing to talk pointlessly. In an apparent world where it seems like most talking has some point to it. I don't know. And I guess really, I mean, I think on a human level, I guess we could say all talking feels like a desire to connect and share and resonate together. But I don't know, like, that being said, it's just like, wow, you know, it's just insane that any of this is even happening at all. And then even to say happening is just another word painting, because happening is a description. It's drawing a line and in a line of time to say, like, start, middle, end, like. And really, I mean, this is why it's so funny to talk at all, because I don't know, it's like it feels obvious that even time is just another story, but it's experienced nonetheless, and no one's controlling the experience or non-experience of time. I don't know, like, what is non-experience? That sounds like fucking bullshit. That's why a lot of talking about, you know, attempting to talk about existence or totality or the absolute, I mean, you know, it doesn't make sense, because sense is just another experience. To say this makes sense, that's just another human interpretation. But even to say human interpretation kind of makes it sound like someone's doing it. But I just think it's something that seems to happen with human brains, I guess I could say. I don't know. It seems like a human brain thing to want to say start, middle, end, cause, effect, black, white, up, down, this, that, you know, like, I love Alan Watts' lecture. I don't remember what lecture, but where he talks about, like, he says, this is red, this is green, this is something, this is nothing, this is solid, this is space. That's just that seems like what thoughts do. Thoughts do that, and words do that. This is this, that is that. But it's all just fucking life happening. And even to say that can almost sound like it creates like a structure around and says, okay, this is life and everything in here is life. But even this drawing of the circle is life too. So there's no stepping outside to then look back and describe. That's why any words are really pointless, but they're fun, and so they happen anyway, I guess. Check out this wood structure, though. I love the way the sun shines through the trees. And just to think that this is all sort of light fabric, and like even the sense of solid objects is a relative one, even if we look at different realms of physics. Now, I'm not going to go into that because I'm going to sound like a major dum-dum, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I enjoy reading Quantum Physics for Dummies. If that's a book, I don't know if it's a book, but I've just read articles that are broken down for laymen like myself. I studied jazz, I didn't study physics, but I mean, I don't know, man. This brain seems to be fascinated with the absolute relativity of everything that is describable and indescribable, because even to classify what's describable and what's indescribable is another this, that. When all thises and that's are just fucking life happening as words, as artificial lines in the sand. But who's to even say what is artificial, right? What is artificial? I mean, what is artificial? Well, synthetic colors and flavors and fragrances. But you know what I mean. No, you probably don't. I don't know what I mean. Oh, man. It's a beautiful day in Austin, Texas, that's for sure. I bet that was a terrible accent to anyone who has in my head that was a semi-British accent, but I'm sure that was not it was not very nice. If you're actually from Britain, I'm sure that was disappointing for you. I apologize. But the words are just fucking happening on their own, okay? So, like, what the fuck am I gonna say? I don't know. What the fuck am I gonna say? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna say, alright? I don't fucking know. One thing that happens, though, when you reach enlightenment is you don't curse anymore, so I'm not there yet, and so I just was hoping that by making a video like this, maybe I'd get closer. Missed the mark. Missed the mark! And you know what? No, I'm not on drugs. Sometimes I talk like this. I mean, I don't feel like I'm doing it. It just feels like the words just fucking come out, and sometimes it's met with the very logical question, are you on drugs? And no, I'm not on drugs. I had a piece of nicotine gum this morning, guilty pleasure. Here's the thing, bypass smoking, just chew nicotine gum. It's very fun. I mean, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Or do it. I don't care. I don't really care. But I just, do your own research, okay? If you're gonna, this June bug wants to be my friend, but I was not prepared for that level of intimacy with that June bug. Okay. I thought this was a path, but there is no path. Ouch! I don't know where I'm going. And I never have. I never have known where I was going. That's one of the fun things about, I don't know, the obviousness that expectations are just thoughts that also happen on their own. Because it's like, okay, I'm planning on going to Six Flags with a friend soon. And like, there can be all these ideas of like the rides I'm gonna ride once I get there, and like what it's gonna feel like standing in line. But I don't know. I guarantee, I can't guarantee, but it seems like anytime that there's a set expectation of like, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I get there, is all storytelling, but I get there, and no matter how close seemingly the details line up, it's never anything like I imagined. Even if I walk just into the grocery store and I say, I'm gonna go to the produce aisle first, and then I'm gonna go to the dairy section. I have a very detailed map of where every item is and what each item is that I'm gonna get. Let's say all the fucking items are exactly where I thought, the prices are exactly the same. Still, once I get there, the smells, the sounds, the feelings, the people I encounter, the way that the floor meets my shoes, like all of the rich vibrancy of every little detail is completely different than my mind, who's my mind. It's completely different than the thoughts about it would have predicted, right? It's like, okay, I'm gonna stand up and it's gonna feel like the ground is leaving my butt, and I'm getting taller. And then what do I really feel? Ooh, it was a little harder than I thought. Oh, I felt a lot in my left foot, a little less than my right foot. And I still feel like my butt's being pricked by the sticks I was sitting on. So I don't know. There's no point to that. But it's just like the littlest things. Like there's no possible way to predict the totality of this just absolute magnificent vibrance that is always unfolding on its own, And it's like, I guess to me now, that's to me what God means, right? I used to think, or it used to seem, because I really can't claim my thoughts. There's who's the me having thoughts. There's just fucking thoughts happening. I don't know. I'm not trying to say that this shit's true. It's just a bunch of fucking blah, 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 blahs. But like, it used to feel like, I grew up very religious. It used to feel like, there's a God like standing outside of this that's happening, kind of like puppeteering it along, or at least that God like planted the seed to then like, so then there's like God and then there's us, or there's God and then the life that God created. But it seems like even that is like a stepping outside. So like even God creating life is still must be life happening. So where is the division between life happening and God? It's just like, wow, God is another word for life happening. Maybe. That's the way it seems to me, I guess. I don't know. I don't really use the word God too often because it feels really loaded. Probably based on my own conditioning in the apparent story of Marissa's past. And yeah, I know that talking like this can sound fucking annoying. It can sound fucking annoying, I'm sure. I don't know why, but like, I guess here it's always felt refreshing, but like I also completely understand when these words are coming out, you know, in relation with someone else, and it's like, you know, I was talking to a friend the other day, and like it's funny because like we have a lot of conversations of this nature, it seems, but then he was like, but at the same time, like non-duality kind of pisses me off because like he pulled up a pan, he was like, because this is just a fucking pan. He's like, I don't want anyone to try to tell me that it's not just a fucking pan. I was like, yes, I get it. So that's why it's funny, like even talking, you know, if you start to attach a label like, oh, this is non-duality, so that means I have to use these words, you know, that can start, I think that that feels like something that happened when I first heard about it. It's like, oh, I gotta make sure I fit in the word apparently every time I talk about past, or like I gotta make sure I don't know, like it's just funny because I mean I think that that's what brains seem to do, but I can't even say that brains are manufacturing that experience, but it just seems like a human thing to kind of want to make a 12-step plan out of everything, or like a methodology for everything. Like, yeah, it's great if you want to fucking talk about vocal technique and vocal health. Let's talk about methodology. That's great. When it comes to like speaking the right way all the time, or like living the most fully, it's like, I don't know, man, can we really ever create a methodology around those things? I mean, people certainly seem to try, and they're not really choosing to do that either. That's just what's naturally unfolding for them. I mean, different personalities seem to gravitate towards different stuff. And these leaves are really fucking pretty. Oh wow, there's like little berries. I don't know if it's picking up on the, yeah. Wow, so vibrant. So vibrant. Okay, I actually don't know where the hell I'm going, so I have to pull out that GPS. Yeah!